Far as I can recall, this quarry was opened sometime in 1964, possibly in the latter part of 1964. When we got here, all this was covered, and our first task was to build this dike right across here to prevent the water from coming in. And that was real hard. I remember Delport coming to us and saying, "Who's got a driver's license?" And all of us put up our hands. Marcus Solomon put up his hand. All of us put up our hands, thinking, well, we're going to be given a job as a driver. And he said, one side. Gele Kwevans. And we had to push this wheelbarrow. And you know, these wheelbarrows were so bad, the wheels were warped. You could hardly push them. But we had to collect the sand, the stones, come all the way down here. And as you can see this dike, how big it is, we built it. It took us months and months and months. And once the dike was completed, then we started now taking up the big stones.
Then what was being done here, we're using the picks and the shovels to dig the hole, and the wheelbarrows.
It was just, the quarry itself was covered with soil, which we have to remove it from that so that the blue stone should come up and be on the top and start getting the stone, which we had to use now for building some of the sections that you saw being existing there.
Today is Brigadier Masondo. Brigadier Masondo was a maths lecturer at Fort Hare University when he came to Robben Island. You were serving 12 years, eh?
Yes, 12 years.
You were serving 12 years. You know, the way they beat him, what they did, they took a sack, they loaded it with stones, and they made him carry it. And while he was carrying it, they were beating him. Now, Masondo broke his back as a result of this.
As we move out of the prison, normally would wait at the gates for any complaints or requests that you might be having. I remember then, Delport, as always, he was in charge of the quarry span group as a whole. We reported to him a case of a prisoner who was very ill. He was from Randfontein. His name was Ganja. I cannot recall the entire name. But the important thing is that they refused. They say he's still sick. He's pretending to be ill, he's not ill. And they forced him out to go out in the quarry to go and work. And that very evening, when they realized that the man was supposed to die, they took him to their so-called hospital, and he died that night, and he was buried.
At this quarry, and on the side of the authorities, opening of this quarry was for getting the blue stone in order to build the jail. But from our side, we have another view that there are many places where this quarry could have been opened, but because they know the geographical position of this area. Now we have here this sea, we have this current here. It's a very cold current, icy winds coming from the side. Now as you are moving from the prison to this place, you can see the change in the weather. So it was deliberate on the part. They had chosen this place deliberately because the idea was that now we should be here, catch cold and die on the island. That was the purpose. Now from our side, we felt that we were going to resist this because we knew where they were going to. So this is a very cold place. Hence you'll find that this incident that is being mentioned here, which we resisted, where they wanted us to sit over there, we said, we are refusing to go and sit over there. We are going to work here. You can see it's warm over here because this place had already been open like this, but they refused because the idea was that of seeing that now we should catch cold, as indicated here. People like Headman Ngapai and others who died because they contracted cold. That was the idea, that we should all die, but we resisted at that point. I wanted to mention that point.
Sensei,